Disclaimer. The following video will center chiefly round this woman. Her name is Mia Mcfadden. If you have any information pertaining to her, no matter how frivolous or insignificant, leave it in the comments section, and it would be much appreciated. Now, enough of this nonsense, and on to the video. Right, so, is this set up proper? Yeah, I think so. Let me just, there. Although I can't really see it, hopefully you can. There we go. Now, for starters, this may possibly be the most important video I will make in my very short YouTube career. This is another, as you could tell, snack and a story with Miles. This time, oh shit, I don't know why it is. I need to invest in a fucking tripod, really, because I can't keep doing this. I'm using a glasses case. I'm miserable. But, as you can see, I have Newman's favorite soup, jambalaya, and grilled cheese sandwich. So, without further ado, I'll get on to the story. I'll give you maybe something a bit interesting to look at. Let's see. We're gonna go with, I guess we could have this. This is improvised, by the way. I apologise. There we go. There we go. We'll have that for you, I guess, and now on with the story. So, as you saw from that little introduction thing that I did, this story concerns someone very near and dear to me. And as I said, if you have anything about this person to share, I would very much like to hear it in the comments or whatever. Just send it my way and such, and we'll get on just fine. So, the story in question began senior year in January. And I'm sorry for the very boring visuals. Let me maybe put in Reus. That's not a very good, let's see, this one is looser. It's as loose as a goose after drinking however much Hennigan's scotch. Lots of Seinfeld references on this, isn't there? But this story began, I suppose I'd say, senior year of high school. And my parents and I were out to dinner at Blaze Pizza. This chain where you can make your own pizza. Well, not make it yourself, but it's basically the Subway of pizza parlors. It's pretty good, in my opinion, but Mum really likes it, and we got kind of tired of it quick because she liked it so much she wanted to go back to it every single week, and fed up with it. Anyway, so we go to this place. I believe it's a Friday night, and the line is particularly long, so the parents and my brother also, who is here with me, asked me to grab them a seat. And me, being the one who's not one to wait in lines, humbly obliges that request. And then So you can see the soup, maybe. There we go. And then, basically, I get a seat. You know, I'm sitting down and such. And, you know, just waiting for the line to dissipate. I give them my order for them to give and such, and everything's hunky-dory and such. So, whilst I'm sitting there comes over this girl, who is admittedly a busboy, although she is a girl, and, you know, she cleans up around the place and such. She's busy cleaning tables, but she goes up to me and then says hello and such, and I say hello back, and she asks if I remember her, and I say, no, I do not. And then, you know, I ask her how it is she knows me, and apparently she had had me alongside in a class once, freshman year, and I had no knowledge of this for whatever reason. And she seemed, I guess, fascinated to make my acquaintance ever since. The reason why I bring up this particular girl, well, there's my foot there, is because of all the women that I've met in my life with whom I tried a feeble attempt at romance, she was the only one out of that small populace that happened to be English, which obviously made her superior over the lot. As you could probably tell. So, I tell her about the novel I'm writing and such, and she seemed utterly intrigued by it. And, you know, said that we should talk sometime. And that type of thing. So, you know, that's probably the last I see of her there. I say goodbye to her. And it's kind of strange because she must have sensed me right before I walked in, because she went right up to me. And I guess, I don't know, she must have memorized the way I looked or something or other, at least my face, because at the time that she supposedly had an encounter with me that freshman year, I had had very long hair. Maybe because I was too lazy to cut it. And so after that, I kind of really, I keep her at the back of my mind. And as you know, you already know her name from the little intro thing there. And basically, as I said, I keep her in the back of my mind and just do my own thing through school and such. And one day I'm walking about here or there, just to class, or to lunch actually, and I see her. She comes up to me, she's talking with another girl and such, and we strike up a few words. So she says we should have lunch sometime, and that she gave me a location and such, and evidently her and her friend had to use the facilities, so we couldn't continue this exchange, but you know. Oh, the reason why I'm recording this way is because once you, every single snack in a story I've made was had the camera facing towards me, you know, like the auto set, whatever it is, and they were all recorded mainly in one shot. lately, I've been doing a lot of my videos in several shots on this phone camera, because you can pause in between takes and such. But the kicker is, once you film something in a certain perspective and then pause it, it will remain in that perspective for the whole video, which is rather inconvenient, but you know, shit happens, I guess. But so I look and see, you know, I'm not really thinking about her all that much, and a month later, and notice that I see her form within this group of people who have lunch with her by the library. And they go up to her, or not up to her, but the group actually. She's not at the group at this time, there's a different day, but I basically wait for her. And she never comes, so I just go my own way, and then she comes right afterwards, after my departure. So I try a different day to visit her. It's a little bit more successful. She's as giddy as ever to see me, and Avria's looking at you. And basically, she wants to hear more about the novel, and I say I'm still working on it and such, and she gave me a piece of advice. Here's a Lego alien, by the way, that to this day I hold true, or hold very close to me, and that is to remember diversity. I don't know if that's Greedo, but it's a Rhodian nonetheless. And basically I tell her that my book has plenty of diverse characters, from English to Spaniards to Mongoloids to every other anathema of character that you could think of, and she is roaring with laughter and such. And I pretty much head on my way, because she's overtaken with everybody else who's there. So I decide not to disturb her. Let's see. A few months go by. I ask a couple people, you know, about her, and apparently I learn that she may or may not have interests in a man, an American. So I know at this point not to try anything with her. Which, you know, initially I really didn't want to try anything with her. I just wanted to be friends, is all. As fellow members of the Empire. By the way, I went to school with a bunch of Americans, and she had to be one of the only English, or British rather, people there, other than myself and the assistant principal. And it was very refreshing for me, for her presence to be in the accompaniment of mine. Anyway, reposition myself on this seat here. This may take longer to tell than I have time for. Oh dear. I'm making all these toys all greasy. What a shame. Won't be able to sell them now. But so I know not to try anything with her. So she sort of goes out of my mind for a great while, until the month of final examinations, which also prompts the issuing of yearbooks. So it occurred to me that, oh my God, I'd never gotten her to sign my yearbook. I really want to, like, start a friendship with her. I may as well, kick it off with her signing my yearbook. And I searched for a few days for her, and find it successfully after several failed attempts at going to this one Spanish class, of which she was a part. And I don't know why I'm breathing so heavy. It's just, the story is very, very personal, and I haven't really opened up much about it on the internet. I don't even know if I can continue talking about it here without crying, because as you will find out, it didn't end so well. Anyway, the Rhodian fell, whatever. Okay. Oh. Anyway, I find her, I go to the room one last time. She's not there, apparently. This is like a day before, or 2 days before graduation. And I'm just flipping through the yearbook here to show you what she wrote, which is what I'm going to read to you in a moment. But she's not in the classroom, and I sort of go away with my tail between my legs and such, and very saddened and such, until she shouts my name from off in the distance and comes running towards me practically. And then, we have a few words together, and I ask her if she'll be willing to sign my yearbook. And she says, of course. I shall now read to you what she wrote. And in fact, just to prove that if she ever does see this, that it is me, here is what she wrote. You could see there, Miles. I've enjoyed getting to know you so much. 3 exclamation points. Oh God, what does that say? You're a genuine and authentic person, and you always make me laugh. 1 exclamation point. This is the kicker here. By the way, this is your, as in Y-O-U-R, not Y-O apostrophe R-E. Really cute. Exclamation mark with a heart replacing the dot on the bottom. Have a smashing summer. Love, Mia Mcfadden. So, naturally, after that, reading that, pretty much the day or the night of, that announcement, or that, reunion, I guess, I want to know. I was like, well, geez, I thought she had interest in a man already, and wasn't gonna try anything with little old me at the time. So naturally, Jesus, I am so sorry. Okay, that's probably the best I'm going to get, but naturally, I want to see if any of this is all true, because potentially I may have myself a partner. And at the end of my school career. So, that day, or not Jesus, I keep saying the night of, good Lord. It's just that this story is so personal that I can hardly express myself without getting emotional and flustered and all that type of thing. Anyway, same day, I go to the library to, like, finish up or just to write or whatever, because I spend my time there after school to wait for me ride, and she happens to be there. And at the time, people are returning their textbooks for the start of a new year. And she happens to be there in that very long line. And she's very near to the front. So I decide maybe once she's done, I'll go over to her and ask whether any of this is true. Apparently it took longer than I thought. And the time came that I had to get going. So I left very promptly. And you know, my ride was on its way, and then all of a sudden she comes back. Or not comes back. Oh, hell, what did I do? I think either I track her down, or she calls to me. And you know, I ask her whether any of this endearing message is at all true. And she says to me, rather vaguely, yes, but she really has some place to get going, so she asks if I can talk to her tomorrow, which took the day afterwards is basically senior festivities, which is where you go and romp about the campus and do all sorts of fun stuff that otherwise would not have seemed orthodox any other time of the year. But it's kind of like the last hurrah, in a sense. So she was going to talk to me then, maybe. But at the time, I was desperately trying to... Jesus Christ. I am so sorry about this. I really am. But I was desperately trying to avoid this other girl, of whom I was quite afraid. So I decided, you know, at this graduation ceremony, I wanted to be concealed from any and all viewing of her, or hearing anything. So what I was going to do is I was going to wear sunglasses, tinted, obviously, so I couldn't see nothing, and so she could recognize me, and then ear stoppers, so that I wouldn't hear nothing. And I told Mia that, you know, those very specific instructions, that I won't be seeing her that day, because likely this other girl would be at those festivities as well, and I didn't want to risk having run into her. So I tell Mia that I would see her at the ceremony, but to look for me, and I'll be wearing sunglasses, the only one on the field wearing sunglasses, or the pitch wearing sunglasses, because we did this on the football pitch. And she said okay, and you know, we settled on that. Did not show up for the festivities, showed up for graduation, and I was all decked out in my wear, you know, my inconspicuous type of attire, hopefully, we'll see. But evidently you know, the proceedings go on, the pomp and circumstance, everything, all that type of thing. The off-key music, and you know, everything goes on. When I notice that I happen to be one of like 5 or 6 other men there who happen to be sporting sunglasses. Not men, students rather. And I didn't see any of that one girl that I hated, or was afraid of, whatever, which was good. But, here's the kicker. Once again, here's the kicker. The whole time that I had known Mia, supposedly, because she allegedly recalled me having made her acquaintance back in freshman year, or having seen me in freshman year, even though I don't remember a lick of it. But from the entire time that she's known me, that I've known her, really, formally, I've had on my face a moustache. Not a very remarkable moustache, but it was black and such, and wispy. But as I said, it was black, so it was still somewhat of a substantial moustache. So I immediately, that's the type of sign by which she would recognize me. Because I did not want to see this girl, this other girl that I was talking about, I took the time to shave that moustache off and conceal myself further. Luckily, I did not see that girl, but unfortunately, this made it very hard to track down Mia. So, I'm sorry if I take so many long pauses. It's just because this story, I cannot bear to tell it anymore. This will be the last time I tell it for a long while. But, and this soup is too much too. So everybody disperses all across the pitch. There's thousands of people there, and here I am frantically looking to see if I could find her, because she wanted to have a photograph with me and her as well, and potentially have me meet her parents and all that type of thing. So I was, mowing people down practically, trying to, and asking them whether they've seen her or not. All my answers came back negative, and except for one, and that was that she was wearing a red gown, whereas I wore a black one. So that made me especially difficult to detect, because there are, if you know anything about, I suppose, the secondary school system of America, the amount of black gowns, the ratio of black gowns to red gowns is actually far more substantial than you might think. So red gowns are inferior to black gowns in numbers. So, oh dear, I'm coming up to 30 minutes, I've got to wrap this up. So, I look for this red gown, and the clock is ticking for when my family want to have something to eat, and they actually say it's time to go. And I never ended up finding her. I lost her on the pitch, and I've never seen her since the 5th of June 2018. I have no idea how she is, or whether, I mean, I know she is enrolled at the University of San Francisco, because I looked in the school paper and saw that, but I don't know if that's true or not. And I tried contacting people for her number and such, and those attempts were in vain. But if any of you have any information at all pertaining to her, whether it even be just a simple affirmation of my question, whether it's a yes or a no, or where, just send it my way, please.